This is where the community is connected. 980 AM WDDO.
The views expressed on this program are not necessarily the views of the Glory 980 AM, the Glory Media Group, LLC, WDDO AM, its staff, management, or advertisers, but are the views and opinions of the participants of the broadcast.
Macon in Middle Georgia. It's time for Village Talks with Tia and LJ. Join them live every Wednesday from 5:30 p.m. to 6:30 p.m. right here on the Glory 107.9 FM, 980 AM WDDO. Log on to the Glory 107.9 FM on Facebook or YouTube to become a part of the conversation. Let's go live into the studio for Village Talks with Tia and LJ.
Is your child struggling with reading, writing, learning loss, and a culturally irrelevant curriculum? Do you want your child to be outstanding at reading and writing and also take pride in their culture? Then you want Reading Revolution Online. Reading Revolution Online is a web-based reading support program. We serve scholars in grades K through 8, and through our innovative approach, we help them build reading confidence and cultural identity development, equipping them for success in school and life. They learn about Black heroes and sheroes through captioned videos, reading selections, and other activities. Reading Revolution Online is an experience for the whole family. Do it for the culture. Go to readingrevolution.org and get your membership today.
Hey, Village family. Thank you so much for joining us. Good evening and welcome to Village Talks, the freshest radio show and Godcast, bringing you conversations centered on community and culture from the 478 and beyond. I am your host, Tia, and
I'm Renata Scott. Thank you all to the listeners for tuning in this evening, and thank you to our sponsors who continue to support conversations that matter in our community. A special thank you to Homeland Village Cultural Center, Assembly Brothers, Dr. Chike Okua, and Habersham Records for helping to make Village Talks possible.
yes.
You can listen live to Village Talks live on the Glory 107.9, stream online, or catch the replay on Facebook and our digital platforms. Thank you.
Yes, y'all. And so that includes WDDO.live as well as Twitter, aka X. And then again, YouTube, Facebook. We are everywhere. And if you are tuning in with us on the radio, 107.9 FM, 980 AM.
Tonight's episode is a special edition election conversation focused on District 5 and Macon-Bibb County. And we'll be speaking with District 5 Commissioner candidate Edward Foster about leadership, community presence, and the issues impacting the district. But before we get into our main conversations, let's take a look at what's happening around Macon and Middle Georgia.
Absolutely. So first up, to all of the basketball fans here, we have something to look forward to. The Southwest Patriots will be taking on Rayburn. I don't know if that's right, y'all. It's Rayburn County in the GHSA Class A Division I State Championship game. The game will take place on Friday, March 13th at 3 p.m. at the Macon Centralplex. So y'all go out, support Southwest as they compete for their second state title in 2 years. So congratulations to Southwest for getting that far. And, you know, whether you went to North, East, West Side, Central, wherever you are from, y'all make sure you represent and support Macon-Bibb County, district schools for getting that far. So a big congratulations to Southwest High School for getting out there. And then also happening next week, Central Georgia Technical College is offering an opportunity for adults looking to earn their GED. Participants can earn their GED for free in just 3 days through a program hosted at CGTC's Macon campus. Preliminary testing will take place March 12th and 13th, with official testing scheduled for March 19th through the 21st. The program includes free instruction, free testing, free study materials, and breakfast and lunch for participants. Participants must be 18 years or older in order to be a part of that program, and you can contact 478-757-6669 for more information on that GED program. So that's definitely a great program if you know anyone who might be interested in that. Again, that phone number is 478-757-6669 for that GED program. Also happening this coming Saturday, the 14th, from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m., Keep Making Bid Beautiful will be hosting their Plant the Town Pink event at the Spirit of Macon Park, located at 503 5th Street. Community members can receive potted ornamental Helen Taft cherry blossom trees in memory of Wayne Woodworth. There is a limit of 2 trees per attendee, so make sure you get there early so you can get your trees. And again, that'll be happening on Saturday from 10 to 1. Families also have an opportunity to get involved in a cultural empowerment program for young girls. The third annual Juneteenth Junior Debutante presentation, hosted by Making Black Culture, is currently accepting participants. So girls in 4th through 7th grade are invited to take part in workshops that focus on confidence, cultural pride, and leadership. Registration is open through March 30th, and you can email makingBlackCulture@gmail.com for additional information. And finally, we have a reminder for residents in Macon-Bibb County District 5. Early voting for the District 5 County Commissioner special election is underway now and will continue through Friday, the 13th. Early voting takes place Monday through Friday from 8:30 a.m. to 5:30 p.m. at the Macon-Bibb County Board of Elections at the Old Macon Mall and at the Theron Ussery Recreation Center on North Macon Park Drive. Election day is next Tuesday, the 17th. Polls will be open from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. And on election day, you are reminded that you must report to your assigned polling location in order to vote. So you will no longer be able to go to the Macon Mall or to North Macon Park in order to vote. So y'all make sure y'all get out and vote. I've been hearing a lot of things about voting. There's a lot of stuff going on as it relates to the issues with it sounds like people
Not
voting, people in the wrong districts being able to vote. So voter suppression is real. And it's real for a reason, because your voice and your vote matters. And with that, we can get into the accountability check, because that's what's happening in Macon and Middle Georgia.
Well, the accountability check question for today is, why do you think voter turnout has been so low in Macon local elections? That's a good question.
It's a good question. Why do you think voter turnout has been so low in Macon local elections? And real quick, let me just go ahead and hop in the chat. We have Wade Horton says, good evening all. Razul Salim, peace and blessings to everyone. Peace and blessing, Mr. Salim. Miss Jeanette Goff says hello. And Miss Tina Denard says hello. Hello, everyone. Thank y'all for joining us. And if you want to join in on the conversation, give us a call in at 478-250-1444. Again, that accountability check question, why do you think voter turnout has been so low in Macon local elections?
Okay. Can't answer that right quick.
Patrick Davis says, good evening, everyone. He might have some data, because the last I saw it was about 190 some people didn't vote.
It's been like 220, less than 220.
Oh, so
out of 17,000. Patrick, can you give us that data, please?
Yeah, Patrick, if you are able, please give us that data on the current voter turnout in District 5. And I know LJ and I were talking previously about, even just in mayoral elections, there was about a 10% voter turnout for the last mayoral election as well. So when we talk about voter apathy and voter turnout and why people are not going out to vote, to me, I think it's a bit of hopelessness. People see that the conditions in their communities aren't changing regardless of who is in office. So I think that they are disparaged, they're discouraged. They don't think that their vote will make a difference, when in reality, if we could rally around folks and get support and get people who are, engaged and truly care and committed to the community and investing in the community, and will make that their priority, we could see a big difference in voter turnout, I think. And then also just being educated and knowledgeable on things that happen in our government. I think, lack of voter education
Trust.
also, yeah.
Lack of trust.
Yes.
It's lack of trust in government. So.
Absolutely. From the bottom to the top, from the local to the national, I think there is a lot of mistrust and distrust in the people who are put into or even elected into those in positions. And so it makes it hard for people to want to go out and vote. So we want to hear your thoughts. Again, that phone number is 478-250-1444. Patrick Davis says 45% of Black voters have participated thus far. 47% of white voters have participated. The district is 57% Black. And he says 220 voters have gone out to early vote so far. Again, you have until
March 17th.
The 13th for the early vote. And the 17th is official election day. That's your last opportunity to let your voice be heard. There are a lot of candidates in this District 5. We have six. So we have Edward Foster, we have Stephanie Stevens Latham, we have Ulisha Hill, Chester Gibbs, Landon Justice, and Andrea Cook. So there are a lot of votes. There was the West Side Neighbors United had a community forum where 5 out of the 6 candidates participated, and they gave their and the community was able to ask direct questions that they cared about and were concerned about, and they were able to get that information. Dominique Devereaux says hello, and LJ Malone says it was the lowest turnout in history when we had 10% turnout for the last mayoral race, and that is
oh Jesus. Those are not voting.
People
Definitely
are not
voting.
Yeah, people are not voting. But we have a caller on the line who might want to chime in on the conversation. Hey, caller, you are on the line.
Hello.
Hi.
Hello.
Hey, this is Stephanie Stevens Lanham. I'm District 5 County Commissioner candidate. How are you doing today?
We're doing well. How are you?
Doing just fine.
Okay. And what did you want to say? Did you want to say something about the accountability check question? Why do you think voter turnout has been so low in making local elections, or was there anything, or did you just want to say something in regards to what you have going on?
As far as voter turnout goes, that's unfortunate. It's unfortunate that people don't realize the power of their voice. Without them realizing the power of their voice, you can't make change. You can talk about change all you want to, but you can't actually make change unless you do something. And doing something means voting. Voting means you hire and fire somebody. Hiring and firing somebody is what you want to do. You want to make sure that you get the right candidate for the job. And by getting the right candidate, that means you have to go vote. Apathy occurs because people are discouraged. People feel like what they believe in and what they think is actually going to happen is going to happen. That nothing's going to happen. So That's why they don't get out and vote. And with that being part of the problem, I will tell you this: me and my daughter went to vote today. So I actually waited. I didn't go the first day. My husband went the first day because he's like, I'm going to vote for you now. But I told him, I'm going to wait till my daughter get home. And my daughter came home from school on Sunday. And so she and I actually went and voted today before I came to work. So those, you can count mine too in today for, voters that voted today. But when I was at the poll, there is a low turnout. And I've been walking the district, and I've been speaking to a lot of the constituents. And a lot of them are saying they're going to vote the day of. I met one man, he was quite adamant about I only vote the day of. So maybe the day of, we might see a larger turnout.
Right, absolutely. And that's interesting. So your daughter was away at college and came home to vote. And I think that's a lot of times too that we forget that we have so many voters that are going off to school who might not even consider or think about voting in special elections like this.
I don't know that.
So I tell you this. Also, I tell you this, I also I go to the wellness center, and so there's a gentleman there. He said he was going to vote for me, and his son goes to Georgia Tech, and he said his son is coming home to vote for me. See, he called him and told him to come home to vote for me. So, so the thing is, I mean, we have to think about the kids, because, you know, my message is, you know, we want our kids to come home. They go off to school, but are they coming home? Are they going somewhere else?
Right.
So, you know, with that being said, you know, we want to do something. We want to show them that, hey, we're motivated. We're trying to do any and everything we can to make change. Change means safety. Change also means bringing in businesses that's going to pay more than $15 an hour, because that's not a living wage. You can't afford rent on that.
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. And so thank you so much for joining the conversation. And like you said, we need folks to get out and vote. Maybe the turnout will be a little bit higher on Tuesday. Thank you.
I have a question.
Oh,
Stephanie,
yeah.
you're running. Why don't you tell us your platform for District 5?
I'm sorry, say that one more time.
You're running for commissioner. What's your platform for District 5?
Because I can barely hear you. I'm sorry.
Your platform for District 5. Yeah, if you could tell the listeners, the audience, a little bit about your platform for District 5.
Oh, yes. I'm sorry. Now I hear you much better. So my platform, District 5, first and most importantly, is public safety. And with public safety, I'm not only talking about police force, I'm also talking about the fire department. I'm talking about the ability for members to feel safe in their homes. And to feel safe in your home, you have to have adequate staffing on both. And that's to include police and fire. If you don't have adequate staffing, one, you have safety risks at your home.
Stephanie, are you still with us? Stephanie? Okay. I'm not sure if she's still there. We'll go to the chat, and if you can hear us, you can call back in maybe, and then we'll get into our guest. So we have Dominique Devereaux, who says, what if we don't live in these districts? So if you're referring to voting, you won't be able to vote in the District 5 special election. But if you go to your My Voter page on the Secretary of State website, you'll see what district you're in. And then so anytime there's an election happening that you can vote in, whether it be, you know, a county commissioner, whether it be water board, whether it be House of Representatives, State House, anything Senate, like that, you'll see what district you're in and when you are able to vote for and what election you'll be voting in. And then Ms. Commissioner Bryant says, hi all. Hi, Commissioner. Dominique Devereaux also says, we are not discouraged. We just need to know if we are in those districts. I think it's a little bit of both. I think that, you know, there with the redrawing of maps, people are confused and not sure when they can vote, where their polling location is and things like that. Because like LJ said, in the last mayoral election, that was citywide, countywide, and only 10% of the people who were registered to vote voted. So there has to be something other than not knowing a district that is, you know, stopping people from getting out to vote. LJ says, I think redistricting hurts us here as well because a lot of people don't know what districts they live in. The Board of Elections should have sent out mailers for this special election as well as to the general knowledge as well. Yeah, absolutely.
I'm going to say something to that because Elaine Lucas had something on her somebody on her radio station today when I tuned in that stated that most of the Republicans draw the lines. So why are we not focused in on helping to draw those lines?
Right.
As independents or Democrats.
Right.
We definitely need to be going to meetings and getting information and making our government accountable to holding those meetings during times where people who work can come to them.
Absolutely.
So
Absolutely. Yeah. The redistricting of maps, I think, is a big thing when you talk about like stuff like gerrymandering and all of that. We have to be more aware. And that, again, that starts with just civic education and being transparent and open with your constituents to let them know, hey, this is going on. But, if you are good intentioned or well intentioned, those are things that, people in these seats needs to be, mindful of, and also sharing with their constituents. And then let's see. Yeah, okay. Well, that's pretty much it. Dominique Devereaux says, thank you. You are most welcome. And with that, we can move right into our main segment with our special guest. He is also running one of the candidates for Macon Bibb District 5 County Commissioner. We have Mr. Edward C. Foster.
How you doing?
How you doing, Edward? Thank you so much for joining us this evening.
Thank you for having me.
He's Pleasant Hill's own.
Pleasant Hill's own. He is vice president of the Pleasant Hill Neighborhood Organization. And so, Ed, if you could let the folks know, because you are Pleasant Hill born and raised, but District 5, if you could let the people know who you are, who may not know you, and tell us a little bit why you decided to run for this seat.
Well, my name is Edward Charles Foster, and I'm running for the District 5 Commissioner seat. And one of the reasons I decided to run for it, honestly, is because people did come to me and made me aware that, this is a special election coming up, and they were aware of a lot of the work that I had been doing in the community. And they felt like that I would do a good job in that situation, as far as being transparent and letting the community know what things are available to them and helping them out. So I had to take time to think about it, to make sure that it was something that I would have time to commit to. And when I did make that decision, that would make me decide to run, because I felt like I would be good. I would be a great commissioner for that position. I would be a great commissioner because I do believe in reaching out to the public. I do believe in letting the public know exactly what's going on and what I can do to help. So if I'm working with the local government, I'm able to let the people know what's going on with the government and what opportunities they have that's available to them.
Absolutely, that's awesome.
Well, tell us about the program you started in Pleasant Hill. I heard it was to teach children to.
My tennis program, absolutely. Well, I coach my daughter in tennis, and tennis is not something that's seen or even recognized a lot in the Black community. And when I would be on the tennis court with my daughter, I would notice a lot of the kids walking by, and they was looking, because it would be common for them to see other kids playing basketball and things like that. But when they would stop and look at me and my daughter playing, it was almost like they was looking at another world. And it kind of bothered me, because I felt like I didn't want to be, I felt kind of guilty, like letting them be able to see something like that, but not be able to be a part of it. Mm-hmm. So me and my oldest daughter, we got together and we decided, it'd be a good idea if, after her practice, maybe, we could just put together an hour time for the kids that's in the community. So we started doing that, as the kids would come by, we would let them know that the tennis court was open. The tennis court would be open, and then they would just come on. Some days it'll be 5 kids, some days it may be 15. It goes up and down. But one of the most important things that I noticed in the process of doing that if children have something better to do, they will choose to do that. Mm-hmm. I mean, it was children, they would have the option whether to be on the tennis court with me and my daughter, learning how to play tennis, or just walking around the neighborhood doing whatever they want to, possibly getting into trouble. Right. And they would actually make the choice to go to the tennis, to come to my tennis program so they can learn how to play tennis. So I just feel like that's another big reason why I want to run, because I do want to bring more programs into the different communities throughout District 5 to help children, so they can have other things to focus on, and just open up their mind to other things besides the things that they just see on a day-to-day in their environment.
Absolutely. Yeah, that's awesome.
That's amazing. Because if we start putting things into children earlier on, then it flourishes and they become a stable-bodied citizen, paying taxes and doing what they need to do.
Exactly. And just to add to that, this is I think one of the biggest misunderstandings is that people think that children want to be bad or want to misbehave.
Right.
And I know from personal experience that that's not true. I'm gonna try to tell a quick story. I also coach soccer too. I coach my daughter in soccer, and I also used to coach down at the city at Central City Park. I coached down there for like 4 or 5 years. But it was one day we was over there at LH Williams, and I was practicing with my daughter on the soccer field. And the kids started to come out after I think it was after school program. And one kid came up and asked could he play with the soccer ball. Me and my daughter was pretty much done with practice, so I told him to go ahead and he could. So as he dribbled the soccer ball around the field, as he dribbling, more and more kids started going behind him. So it like becoming a big crowd. So I looked at my daughter and said, "Look, we actually got enough people to play a soccer game now." So when the kids came over there, it was like 10 or 15 kids. Now on one part of the playground, it was like children running around, they could do whatever they wanted to. But I told them if they was gonna come over here, they were gonna have to, pay attention, they were gonna have to listen. And it just amazed me that the option that they had an option whether to stay with me, because I'm very stern when I'm trying to teach someone something as a coach. They had an option to stay with me as far as me making them pay attention and be disciplined, or run around the playground and do whatever they wanted to. And they all actually chose to stay. And I learned the big lesson that day. I learned that children actually do like discipline. Children actually like encouragement. They actually do like to have somebody in their life giving them some form of structure. So that's another big reason why I want to run for the Commissioner of 5 District seat, because that I'm running for the District 5 Commissioner seat, because I feel if we put more programs in the community, we can curb some of the violence that go on if we start getting these children focused on other things and other ideas at a young age.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Absolutely. And I think that's important because, like you said, children do crave structure. I think a lot of times people try to make it seem like kids just want to be out and misbehave. But when there are limited options, or it feels like limited resources or access to those resources, then that's when we see, some of the things that we've been seeing with violence and, just the lack of encouragement. So I think that's awesome.
We have a question from Pastor Davis.
Go ahead.
What are your thoughts about developing or expanding a midnight basketball program in Macon? We can add counselors, black male mentors, and this can be a safe space for kids. Some critics may say it would cost too much money. Is it worth it having a study to see if this is possible?
Oh, definitely. It would definitely be worth having a study to see where it's possible. It also would be worth just looking into our local government right now to see are there any funds right now available for things like that. Whether it may be reaching out to Parks and Recs, because I know a lot of good people that work for Parks and Recs, and they're very with my tennis program. I reached out to Parks and Recs, and they actually provided me a lot of tennis rackets, so I could have tennis rackets for the extra kids, because tennis is a very expensive sport. That's the reason it's not as big in the black community, because it takes money to play it, with the equipment. Right. So I would think definitely it would be a good idea to look for a way to expand the basketball, and just see if the funds are available now, and if not, see what we would need to do to get together to get something like that done. Because anything that could help give us time to instill good things in our youth, we need to definitely invest in that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, I want to say, because we used to have a program in Bibb County where they could go and get vouchers to play sports. What happened to that program, and can we ask the mayor to bring that back?
That'd be good. Yeah, I think that we definitely need more youth investment in youth development, and just getting the word out for people to know, what programs are available. And again, there's an accessibility problem, I feel like, because I hear a lot of people talking about programming, but, what is the accessibility? And also, what are we seeing to actually rally these kids or encourage them to say, hey, this is what is available and I can get you there? Because I know a lot of times parents have, trouble getting kids to school and things like that. So I think we definitely have to consider all of those things. My question, and then we'll get to Patrick Davis' question in the comments. Many residents in District 5 have expressed that they want leadership that is visible and present in the community. What does showing up for this district actually look like to you as a commissioner?
Well, showing up for the district actually means being present, being available, actually working with the community. I said one time before that a lot of times the community have ideas that if they were able to work with the local government, they could help solve some of the issues that we have. So that's my big thing, is being accessible, whether it's through phone calls, whether it's through email, going out to different neighborhood organization meetings, like what are they called, the different neighborhood watch meetings, going to those on a regular basis, making sure that you know exactly what's going on in these communities on a regular basis, because you can't just I feel like the biggest part of a commissioner is to reach out. I feel like the community should be able to have access to the commission, but I also think the commissioner need to make it their business to reach out to the community, because I think the more they see a government representative that's supposed to be representing them, reaching out to them, asking them what can they do to help, then people will start to feel like, okay, I have a voice in my community. I actually have somebody in my local government that will help me accomplish some things that I'm trying to accomplish. And I think that will also, when we was talking about the voting turnout earlier, I think that also help with people starting to feel more powerful about going to go vote when they see you actually have somebody that was voted for, that's actually in the community trying to work for you, trying to serve. Because that's the big part that a lot of people forget, I think, that the job of a commissioner is to be a servant leader. I mean, to lead as far as, giving the people some guidance, or if they have some ideas, helping them get through and helping them work through those ideas. But you also have to be there to serve, to let people know that, let me know what you need, and then I can help you best. So the big thing is being out there in the community, letting people know that you are available and that you're there to serve them. And you can't do it when you want to. You can't do it when it's comfortable for you. You have to do it on a monthly basis. And then if the community need it, it may come to a situation where it may have to be a week-to-week thing. You just have to deal with each community based on what their needs are. But as a commissioner, you have to absolutely be accessible for the people that you serve.
Absolutely. I think that's awesome and commendable. And one of the things that, stands out to me about you, working with you in the Pleasant Hill Neighborhood Organization, you started the Family Fun Days. Right. And one of your goals with that was to have more camaraderie amongst the residents of Pleasant Hill, as well as informing them and educating on what we as an organization were doing. So can you speak more to that? What got you involved with the Pleasant Hill Neighborhood Organization, and how does that work that you do in that organization kind of bleed into what you plan to do as a commissioner for District 5 if elected?
Okay. Well, I got into the organization because a close friend of mine named Antonio Williams, he brought it to my attention that it was that it was a lot of things going on in the community that I wasn't aware of, because of where I had going on in my life. I wasn't aware of the things that was going on in the community, and he was just telling me about the gentrification, and then he told me about the neighborhood organization that we had. So when I started going to the meetings, and as I was going to the meetings, I was seeing, some of the pros and cons of the organization, ways that the organization could be stronger, and ways that the organization was weak. And some of the things that the organization struggled with was just transparency. The people in the community knowing exactly what the organization was doing. Like when it comes to certain money that the organization would get, the people in the community didn't know what those funds was for, or that money that they supposed to have access to. So once I once I started seeing that made me want to be involved, because I'm a person that believe in holding people accountable. I believe in holding myself accountable. Right. So that really got me into the Pleasant Hill neighborhood organization, because I felt like once I joining it, I would help bring some transparency to the organization. And as far as the family fun day, that kind of came because I just felt like it's funny that this show called the Village Talk. I really wanted to, try to turn Pleasant Hill back to a village, because I remember growing up in Pleasant Hill where no matter what street I was on, it was like my parents had eyes on me, because they knew the people on that street, and those people on that street would report back to my parents any type of thing that I was doing if I was doing anything wrong. So in my mind, I wanted to kind of bring that back to the neighborhood where we could have that village feel. And so I felt like if we could do something like that on a monthly basis, at least once a month, that'd give the children and the families in the community to have something to look forward to, just to put a smile on your face, and then let some of the younger people get to meet some of the older people, and some of the older people can, advise the younger people. And I think, and that's something that I would like to bring throughout the district. I think it would be good for things like that to go on throughout the district, as far as having family fun days everywhere throughout the district, because I think that'd be something that people can look forward to, to have, for fun and happiness, and just bringing the community together on the whole throughout District 5.
Absolutely. Good.
That helps you to learn your neighbors too.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Yeah, and
definitely.
Especially when we're talking about like public safety and things like that, when we can police ourselves as a community. And I understand, people talking about more policing and getting the sheriff's department involved, but when we can police ourselves, and when we have that that camaraderie and that feeling that
Yes.
you're not just responsible to these individuals that stay in your household, but this whole neighborhood is my family. And so I'm responsible to you all, and you all are responsible to me. That kind of helps alleviate some of the issues that take place when we don't have that village style.
It brings back unity in the community.
Absolutely.
It does bring back unity.
Absolutely. And so I'm going to go to the comments. Ernest Harden says, hi, how does a local artist get a gospel song playing on your station? I love WDDO. Been a fan for years. Is there someone I can speak with? Artists, you could call into 478-250-1444, probably in the morning, and it'll be someone who can assist you with that. Apostle Rosier and Bishop Don Scott are the owners of WDDO, and they'll be able to talk more with you, and probably LJ can talk to you about that. So thank you for that question.
Good luck, Ernest.
Yes. And then I have Sade Davis says, I have a teen development program idea that I've been sitting on for 2 years. I literally just don't know where to start. I know the resources that I had available as a kid and the positive role models that were involved, and I can honestly say that those programs and people helped me so much growing up, and these kids today really do need that. Yes, absolutely. So did you want to go to the next question, Ronaldo?
Yeah, we can, because I want to know your priorities around safe neighborhoods. I was in a meeting one time when y'all were discussing not calling the police on children that was in the neighborhood. So I want to know what your priorities are around safe neighborhoods, housing, economic development, economic growth, and local businesses. So give me a little background on what you plan to do surrounding that.
Well, as far as the safe being, as far as neighborhood safety, one thing that we do in Pleasant Hill, we have what we call block captains. Mm-hmm. And it's pretty and it's pretty effective. We have people that that take responsibility for each block, and what I mean by that is, by taking responsibility, just keeping an eye out on what goes on their block, and we have that throughout the Pleasant Hill community. So I think if we implemented something like that throughout the district, block captains, throughout the district, where people could just be, well, you're only responsible for watching your street. It doesn't cause for you to engage anyone. Just if you see anything going on that looks suspicious, you can report that to the neighborhood organization, and the neighborhood organization will report that to to the authorities that will be able to check in on whatever issues you may have. So it's kind of being, it's kind of like just being aware, being proactive and not so much reactive, because once it's done, it's done. So you want to kind of be aware of what's going on in the community. So implement things like block captains, people working closer with their neighborhood organizations, making people more aware of their neighborhood organization and how it functions would definitely help as far as the safety goes.
We have a question from the chat.
Yeah, we have 2 questions from the chat. So I'll start with LJ, and then you can read Pat. LJ says, members of Westside Neighbors United never saw Commissioner Clark. Did you experience that in PHNO? And I also want to add one to this, because recently there was an endorsement to 2 specific neighborhoods, Ingleside and Vineville, saying if they still wanted support to vote for a specific candidate. However, District 5 is much more than Ingleside and Vineville. And so when we speak to, and that endorsement was from Commissioner or previous Commissioner Seth Clark, by the way. But when we talk about being visible, what was your experience with that, and how does that feed into your drive to become Commissioner of District 5?
Wow, that was an excellent question. That actually is a big thing that inspired me to want to do it, because as being the vice president of the Pleasant Hill Neighborhood Organization, I do know the importance of being able to be in contact with your representative, the person that represents you through your district, and working with the Pleasant Hill Neighborhood Organization. Being the vice president, we could never get in contact with our representative, and it's things that we would want to work on, questions that we may have that we couldn't get answers to. And that was a big reason why I wanted to run, also because I know the importance of when I know how it impacts a community when they can't get in touch with their representative. Right. And I definitely wouldn't want to be a person like that to make a pledge to a community and then turn my back, because to serve District 5 means just that, to serve the whole district, and you have to be willing to check in on everyone throughout the district. It's not just one neighborhood, it's several neighborhoods and several communities, lots and lots of people, different concerns and different issues. So that was a big thing that pushed me to want to run for the commissioner, because I know how it feels as a community to feel abandoned, as an organization, to have ideas and have things that you want to accomplish within your community, but don't have the person in the government to partner with that's supposed to be working with you and partnering with you. So that is a big reason, because that's something I could never do to a large group of people. And that was a big thing for me, because, like I say, firsthand, I witnessed what it means not to be able to be in touch with your representation.
Absolutely. You wanted to read?
Well, we have Patrick Davis, who asks, how important is protecting historical Black landmarks in Macon? Recently, the old Tubman building was abolished without much notice. Now there is talk once again about closing down L.H. Williams. This would impact District 5 voters and parents. What are your thoughts about this? Well, I know you led a charge on keeping it open the last time. So can you give us some background and then tell us how you plan to address this issue coming forward?
Oh, yeah. Well, it's important to take care of historical Black communities, because just what they are, the historical Black community, and they're important to the people that live in them. But as far as I wasn't even aware that they were speaking about closing L.H. Williams again. But it'll definitely be another fight about that, because that's important. That school is very important to that community in Pleasant Hill. And then they also have a medical facility in there that they just opened up. And the Pleasant Hill Neighborhood Organization, we're also working to turn that to a magnet school. So things that we're working on towards that. So That's pretty much what would be the focus as far as that go. But we definitely have to protect historical Black communities.
Well, I want to say this because I don't know a lot of people know this, but in Bibb County, we currently don't own most of our historical Black communities. So if you go through and do your research, I could start with the Booker T. Washington Center, the Tubman Museum, the one that was demolished. Macon Bibb County owns a lot of our historical Black communities. We have a few that are still up there, and in the original owners, but a lot of our historical Black communities just gone.
Yeah, so we definitely have to make sure we are preserving or doing our best to preserve. And I think that also comes with education, because I know there's like a whole historic making. I don't know in what ways, that would be something that can be teamed up with to understand, how do we, start preserving and buying back buildings and sites that are historic and of cultural significance, because we see it a lot in historic Vineville, Ingleside, where they're able to keep and preserve their historic sites and their cultural assets. But the same thing definitely needs to be done for places like Unionville, places like Pleasant Hill. There's a lot of history in these communities that I feel like a lot of people don't know or understand. So I appreciate, what you did with L.H. Williams last time. I believe there are 19 elementary schools, and there are talks of possibly closing 9 out of those 19 elementary schools. But like you said, L.H. Williams just opened in January a health center that is open not just to the school, but also to the community as well. So I think that stuff like that is important, even when you talk about, making L.H. Williams a magnet school and trying to get that enrollment up and offering more opportunities for the students that attend that school. And just the fact that it's such a historic place in Pleasant Hill, we definitely need to consider that. And LJ says that's another reason why we need to get out and vote. Legacy Medina says, if voted in by the public, paid by the public should have access. Absolutely. We agree 100% on those things. And then we've talked a bit about accountability. You said you hold yourself accountable, and you expect that from other representatives, and you want to be accountable to your constituents. How do you handle criticism or tough questions from the community, or how do you plan to handle criticisms and tough questions from the community while serving in public leadership role if elected? Because I think a lot of times we do focus on something good, but people are going to have their own perspectives, and some people might have criticism, some people might have critiques. And so how do you think you would handle that as commissioner of District 5?
Well, I mean, it's gonna be a big job. It's gonna be a lot of work that comes with it. So I think it would be impossible to take on a job like that and not have any criticism. But it's expected. I would just use any criticism. I would just use as fuel for me to do a better job. Because it's always going to be issues. You're going to have to approach the issues the best way that you know how. But throughout the criticism, I would always just be open to suggestions, like as far as ideas, if the community have any ideas of things that they feel like I have, that at some point in time that they feel that I'm not handling something right, I'll be available for them to tell me that. I mean, I wouldn't be the type of person to just be like, okay, well, this is what I want to do, so I feel like what I want to do is right, so this is just what I'm going to do. So I would always be open to criticism, because I mean, it's no way to do everything perfectly, but I feel like once people see the type of job I will perform, once they see how I'm going to be out in the community, how I'm going to be asking questions, how I'm going to be coming up with ideas, how I'm going to be open to other people's ideas, I think that people feel more like they actually have a partnership with their local government. Absolutely. So it probably won't even. So the way I would be a commissioner it will almost be, it will definitely be a partnership within the community. So whatever I would be doing is going to be something that was community driven anyway. So it'll just be a matter of me and the people that I work with would be the community reflecting on something that we've done, reflecting on the idea we have, and whether we just may need to change something up.
That's a good one. Well, I want to say this because we have a roll call. We need more turnout from these streets. I want to say the voting lines need to look like the egg roll lines.
I mean,
so
I didn't even know what was going on. And then I said, oh my gosh.
So if you can get in that egg roll line, you could definitely get in that voting line. But we need turnouts from Cedar Avenue, Daffodil, Duncan Avenue, Edward Avenue, Grayson Avenue, Grasso Avenue, Woodward Avenue, Payton Avenue, Hillcrest Avenue, and Hope Avenue. So if you live on those streets, I definitely need you to get out there and go vote.
Absolutely. And I think in some previous comments, Patrick also said Napier. I believe Napier
Heights
needs some more. So again, this is a roll call. We are calling out to everybody on Cedar, Daffodil, Duncan, Edward, Grayson, Grasso, Woodard, Patton, Hillcrest, Hope. If you live on any of those streets, you are in District 5. We need you to get out and vote, y'all. Please get out and vote.
Yes.
We definitely appreciate Patrick coming with all of the data and information. This is definitely a very important election. I know it's a special election. It's not a full term, but we need to make sure that we get someone in office who truly cares and has concern for the community. And did you? I think we just got another comment.
Yes.
I was about to say maybe we need the egg roll truck at the voting booths. We might. We need the egg roll to come out to the Macon Mall.
March 17th, voting day.
Right. We need you at some of these voting poll locations because it's so imperative. It's so important to get out so we can make sure that we have people who care about our community. Miss Tina Denard says, I love your spirit. Go vote for Edward Foster. This is a people person. This energy for our district. Yeah, because you definitely, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, you went and visited the Vineville Neighborhood Organization.
Oh yeah,
as
definitely.
And I think that's a big thing too. I know a lot of times our focus is on, the communities that are marginalized and disenfranchised, which are historically Black, but you also are looking at the whole district, so the Vineville, Ingleside, that are more predominantly white. And I think that is also very important as well, because yes, we want representation that is not only that is going to spread the wealth, who's going to be diverse and make sure that you are impacting every community. So
he's going to work across the table, right? With all the commissioners. We need all of them to step their game up. This is around Bibb County. We need everybody to make sure that their commissioners are working for them, not just not seeing them during election time. We need them to be seen every day.
Absolutely.
And just to add to that, that's the big thing that I'm glad you said that, because that's something that we really do need to get the public to focus on as far as holding the elected officials accountable. Politicians are the only people I know that get elected that gets a job, and once they get hired at that job, they pretty much not supervised. I've never worked a job. I have never worked a job that once you start that job on a day-to-day basis, your performance is being supervised. Right. And that's how the public should approach dealing with their mayor. That's how the public should approach dealing with their commissioners. They should be concerned about what they're doing at least on a week-to-week basis, because they work for the community. So they should know what they're doing, what they have on their agenda, what do they need to let the people know. Just holding your public officials more accountable is definitely an important thing.
Absolutely. And real quick, we have a little bit of time left. We have a caller on the line. Hey, caller.
Hi, Tia. This is Commissioner Bryant. How are you?
I'm doing well, Commissioner. How you doing?
I'm great.
Thanks for calling in. Let us know what's going on.
Thank you. I just wanted to say, the people in District 5, I know somebody said about the streets the other day, and they were like, some of the streets weren't listed, but I just want to tell them the map was still wrong as of today. So they definitely have to check their MVP card to make sure that their street is on there. So some streets may be on there. It may be, you could be on Culver Street, but Rogers might not be on there. But the street behind it might be on there. So they need to check their MVP card right before they go vote. From Monday to Wednesday, we were checking voters.
Commissioner Bryant, can you tell them to go make a provisional ballot?
Oh, okay. So if you are in a district that you believe is in a district, don't let them turn you around. Make a provisional ballot to vote, and that means you can go ahead and vote, and you can it can be challenged if you need it to be challenged, because they may turn you around when you get in there. They may say, look at the map of Bibb County District and say, hey, you're not in the right district. But your voter card may say you're in 5. That's what we're finding out. That voter cards are saying they're in 5, but they're actually in another district. But if you find out that your voter card say 5, take the voter card up there and go vote.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Was there anything else you wanted to say, Commissioner, in reference to voting and what folks in District 5 need to be doing?
I just think they need to go vote, but I think it's a lot of confusion on who's supposed to be voting, not enough information on when the time is voting. The special election was only a couple of weeks. Some people had a head start, and some people found out when we found out. So I just think that, this misinformation it's on, I think they did it on purpose. It's intentional so that people don't have time to get together and vote. But I just want people to get out and vote. So no matter who you vote for, just get out and vote.
Absolutely. Well, thank you so much, Commissioner Bryan. Thank you for all you do in District 8. We appreciate all you do just for the county as a whole. Thank you so much. We appreciate you.
I want to piggyback off that. I want to say, just like she said, if you don't know if you're in District 5, go cast a provisional ballot. Also, check your handbook, your employee handbooks, to make sure you can get time off work, because I know that's a lot of people issues. I gotta work, I can't get off work. Check your employee handbook. You should be able to get an hour to go vote.
Oh, that's awesome. And then Patrick Davis says also another option is to call Voter Protection Hotline, which is 1-888-730-5816. And then I also put the My Voter page link in the chat as well. So y'all check that out if you need it. And then we just want to close out real quick. For voters who are still deciding, why should the residents of District 5 trust you with their vote in this special election?
Because I'm a community-driven person. I want to see the entire District 5, strive and be in a better way. And I truly believe that District 5 can be better. I want to bring the district together. I want it to be a safer district. We could do, have more development as far as housing and people being able to be homeowners. So voting for me would mean a better district, would mean better representation, and it would mean a lot more transparency.
Well, he said it, y'all. So again, we have Edward Foster, who is running for District 5, Macon-Bibb County Commissioner. We have given you plenty of options on how to get involved and vote. Make sure your voice is heard if you are in District 5, if you are unsure if you are in District 5, and also if you are being told that you're not in District 5 when otherwise you believe that you are. So there are options. We need to make sure that your voice is heard. Like Commissioner Bryant says, it doesn't matter who you vote for, but Ms. Aisha Ellen says, Commissioner Stanley Stewart says, vote for Ed Foster. Carmen says, people don't know there is an election. That's true. I think that there is a lot of lack of information being supplied, and that's again part of what our accountability check question is. Why is there low voter turnout? A lot of time people don't know what's going on. They're not on Facebook necessarily seeing the things, or they may not ride down certain streets to see the signs. But we definitely need more information on things like special elections and just elections in general, because even our mayoral election is in November. And we know that's when we see the highest amount of turnout is during November general election. So again, real quick, Carmen says everyone I spoke today didn't know that they had an election vote at Foster, right? And so we appreciate you. We are wrapping things up here on Village Talks. I want to thank Edward C. Foster so much for coming out. We appreciate you. I want to thank our guest host, Ms. Renalda Scott, chairman of the...
I want to say meet me downtown at the commissioners meeting on special meeting on March 18th at 4:30, 5 o'clock.
Yes, so meet her there, and we will meet you all next week. We will continue our Women's History Month series. So thank y'all again so much for joining us and tuning in to Village Talks. We appreciate y'all, and I hope y'all enjoy the rest of y'all evening. I don't know if I'm closing out too soon, but peace.
You've been listening to Village Talks with Tia and LJ. Join them live every Wednesday from 5:30 p.m. to 6:30 p.m. right here on the Glory 107.9 FM, 980 AM, WDDO.
The views expressed on this program are not necessarily the views of the Glory 980 AM, the Glory